microphone's still recording. Okay. So what's your name and age?
So I'm Dylan Lockyer and I'm 17.
And what course do you do then?
I do level 3 BTEC in sport coaching and development.
Perfect. Could you tell me a little bit about your coaching background and experience?
Yeah, definitely. So I've coached a variety of sports in a variety of settings. I like to draw on those experiences throughout my coaching. So I do a bit of athletics coaching with sort of a younger age group within the school I work at. I coach, help some additional needs children with some sporting opportunities, and I used to do a lot of outdoor sports as well. So I used to do rock climbing, and I do a lot of paddle sports nowadays as well.
Perfect. What inspired you to become a coach?
What inspired me to become a coach? It's really the relationship you get to build with the athletes and the students, and the rewarding moments when you get those athletes who want to be there and they want to learn and they start asking you the right questions, and that's what's really fulfilling, is when they start asking those correct questions and showing a real interest in the sport and sort of being able to pass down that passion that I had when I was learning as well.
Perfect. How would you describe your coaching philosophy?
Definitely athlete centred. Athlete first, they are the priority, but also giving them as much responsibility as you can. It's not just about competing and winning and actually playing your sport. It's about as well them handing it on to the next generation and doing what I do. It might not be in the same capacity of coaching, it might be through being a sports parent or helping on a board in a sports club or whatever it is, but helping them develop through that sport, and especially in the sports maybe I do. It's not as easy to have a full career as an athlete, so thinking about development for them as the athlete, but also within the sport as a whole, not just in the competitive arena.
Yeah. What do you believe is the most important quality in a successful coach?
Communication. I'd say communication. Of course, there's loads of different attributes, and I don't think there is just one. But if I did have to say one, it would be communication. Because without communication, how can anything get done? Yeah. So if I've got a problem, if they've got a problem, I know that they can come to me and I can go to them and say, and be open and honest about what's happening, what we can do to improve it, what might we need to change. But I really think communication is that gateway into that successful relationship between the coach and the athlete.
You spoke a little bit about sort of being athlete focused in your coaching and saying it's not all about competitiveness. How do you balance winning with player development and enjoyment?
Yeah, definitely. So it's very different from athlete to athlete. Some people come into the sport and they're very focused about winning. They are driven by that, and that's an amazing thing. And that's what you have to look for, is what is this athlete driven by? Because for some, it is that competitive nature. For some, they want to give back to that sport. They've come into a bit of a later development stage. Some are just getting in. So when an athlete comes to you, you have to look at what they can do, what they have done, and what they want to do. And not just be so narrow-minded as to, we've got a competition next week, we want to win it. We've got to think about a longer development plan for them, based on their history within the sport and their future as well.
A bit of a change here, but how do you yourself structure a typical training session?
Again, it's very athlete-centred and depends on the session. So if I'm with sort of a younger age group, it will be more about having fun within the sport. When we talk about England athletics, we talk about the fundamentals, the stage from sort of 0 to primary school. Getting them involved within the sport and adding a bit of competitive nature, but the main focus is just having fun. We don't want to hamper any experiences or put negative experiences in people's minds about sport or our sports as well. Something that as coaches we're so passionate about our own sports, we would never want to put a negative experience in someone's head from our sport. So it's giving the younger ones that more fun experience. And then again, for older ones it can vary. If they want to develop themselves as coaches or as more senior players and so your captains of your football teams and that sort of stuff, then you have to look at not only their performance and their playing, but tap into that leadership side as well. How can they help and bring up the team themselves? And I think that's important to have on the ground, your leadership there. Because while I might be the coach, the leadership should come from them. So they know that when something goes wrong on the pitch, I'm just on the side. They know who to go to.
Yeah, you speak a little bit about growing sort of confidence and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
How do you assess and develop sort of individual player skills?
Yeah, so it's a mix. It's a real mix. So when you've got smaller groups, it's sort of easier because you can be a bit more hands-on with them, and as you are with them, for example, paddleboarding, if I'm paddling with them, I can get a very good gauge of sort of their abilities and their boundaries, and it's easier even from that point of view when you're a bit closer and there's a small group. But it can also be good to take a step back and let them do what they need to do and assess from a further point back and get an idea of what they're going to do without that